Can't get the other one to go up. Anyway, I haven't done a video in a long time because I haven't been irritated enough or been completely bored out of my mind enough. Which I've been bored, but not completely out of my mind, which is the key factor. Yes. And I was getting very irritated with someone who I was having a discussion with. Well, sort of a discussion, but whatever. And what it was about, and I want opinion on this because I am under the impression that I'm fairly good at explaining and arguing things, a little bit scatterbrained, but you know. But I keep explaining things to people and they don't understand. I'm like, is everybody stupid? Or do I not know how to explain? And normally, under these circumstances, you would lean towards the more logical, that there's only one problem instead of many. But I'm leaning towards the fact that they're all idiots. Because my argument makes perfect sense, but I'm slightly biased, so... Anyway, the argument I was having was basically, since I am slightly, you know, ever so misanthropic, may have mentioned it before, don't remember, and he was more humanistic, you can imagine where the argument was going. But my general statement was that people are predictable. Not infallibly predictable, but for the most part. An objective person who knows general human behavior and has studied someone for a while should be able to generally understand and predict their reactions to things. That's what a profiler does, and that's what a forensic psychologist does. And psychologists in general kind of dabble in that. But that's the whole idea behind psychology, that you can somehow foresee events and things. If not, it would be a pointless field. He, on the other hand, was saying people can change. And I was there at a certain point, I'm like, someone can be predictable and change. There's such a thing as predictable change. But he didn't want to understand this. And they're like, predictability is not, what's the word for it? Permanence. I'm like, just because something is predictable doesn't mean it does not change and just stagnates. I mean, science predicts things, okay, something very simple. Ice with heat will turn to water, with more heat will turn to air. There, it changes, and yet it is predictable. Curious. And I kept explaining this concept, that not everything that you learned that was mutually exclusive from your parents is mutually exclusive in reality. Because everybody has this habit, which I use that term because it's the fucking term, but everyone's like, oh, you're using complicated terms. I'm like, mutual exclusivity simply means that where there is A, there is always B. So if something, basically what his idea was, if something is predictable, it cannot change. Which is not true. I remember this now because I'm irritated, but many times I've been like, this A does not mean B. I'm like, what is this argument you're having? I'm talking about one thing, and you're saying no because of this, and I'm like, that's irrelevant. Changing doesn't mean it can't be predicted. What argument are you having with me? And I'm there wondering if I can't explain myself, or if people are just daft, that they can't understand simple concepts. And honestly, I may be biased, but the concept that things are not always mutually exclusive makes sense to me. And then, since apparently he was a preschooler, or the mind of one, I had to explain this in child terms. I'm like, alright, let's see. Pretend that you have building blocks. No, Legos. Everyone has Legos, and if you don't, you suck. But anyway, pretend they're Legos, okay? Concepts and ideas are Legos. Changeability, permanence, sex, ostriches, everything is all Legos. And your parents tell you, look, these go together, isn't that lovely? And they build a ship for you, because on the box it says you must build the ship. And if you don't build it, fire will rain down from heaven and you will be smote, or whatever it is. And you build the lovely ship because your parents tell you how to. And then at a certain point you get bored with the ship. You're like, I don't like this ship is crap. Or whatever you feel like saying about the ship. So then you're like, well, why don't I try moving this there? And suddenly, oh my god, the mast, I can put it underneath the ship. Isn't that brilliant? And it makes no sense, and yet it works. Ooh, and then you can deconstruct it and build your own. You can build a amusement park. You probably don't have enough pieces, but you know, if you're creative, you can do miniature or something like that. But the point is, these blocks that you were taught go together like this can actually go together with something else. Oh my god. It's brilliant. It's amazing. It's like jam. If jam were amazing, which it's not. Jam is very boring, no matter what they tell you. No jam. And yes, I was there like, my god. And I was going to kill him, only I can't. For several reasons. Or, as I say, for more reasons than 4. Because everyone's like, for more reasons than 1. I'm like, why is there never more reasons than 2 or 3 or 4? 4 sounds like a good number for me. There's more reasons than 4. Then you're fucked if they ask you to explain them all if you just said that. And then, like, more reasons than 42. And I'm like, so there's at least 43. I want 43 reasons right now why whatever it is that you exclaimed. And you'll be pressed to find 43 reasons. Trust me, I have trouble with 5 or 6 when I say something like that. I'm like, well... And then I start saying illogical reasons, and then they're like, well, that's not fair. I'm like, a banana's not going to fall from the sky and hit the Pope on the head. That makes no sense. I'm like, well, you didn't say illogical, did you? But now we're on a tangent. The point is, people must understand that not everything is mutually exclusive. In fact, many things are not mutually exclusive. Many, many, many things. And the sooner people understand that, the sooner I won't have to call them all retarded. And I think that's what everybody wants, isn't it? Well, bananas.